things, and our county voted for him in the highest numbers than any president ever before. And I think we ought to do this in recognition of the things he's done, including ending the decades-long wars that we've been in, bringing back home our sons and daughters from the war. I have a son who served over 4 times in combat, and I know many of you on the board there of military veterans as well. So that's one of the things. Another thing is he's made our country energy independent and now a net energy exporter. He's done so much for the economy, rebuilt the economy of our country, brought back jobs from China, stood for life, and these are the things that, you know, people in our county voted for. And so I just want to recognize him as the 45th president of our country and for doing the job that he's done as president. And if you can consider this for discussion, public discussion, and maybe possibly a vote on your January meetings, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Is that all?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to say that I think that that's a great idea, and I appreciate you bringing that. I've actually heard from other citizens that were requesting this and appreciate everything.
Okay. Mr. Mullins, thanks for that input. I'm not prepared to bring this to an agenda item at our next meeting, especially over the holidays. This is a big decision on a bridge that needs to be replaced in the next 8 to 10 years, if not sooner. I'm already working a plan with TPO and FDOT and even had preliminary discussions with Senator Broxson. So naming things is way more important than rushing it in a 2-week period over a holiday. These are the type grenades that I personally am not willing to put out there and enrage or encourage the community over the holidays. I'm not closing the door to it, but I'm just saying right now, we saw what happened with the bridge in Pensacola and the lightning rod that was. I personally feel this county has a lot more important issues to deal with right now. The president's not going anywhere. Life-wise, he may be leaving office, but he's still going to be alive, and I've gone through many naming processes with the military, and it's a topic you don't just throw out there and do a Facebook poll and move forward. So I'm not willing to support that going on the agenda for the next meeting. I'll entertain comments from my fellow commissioners.
Well, I'd have to,
Commissioner Cole.
I agree with the chairman. It's a big decision, and I voted and supported President Trump. Hate the way things turned out. Think he got screwed, to put it in Navy terms, I guess. And you know, but I agree that, you know, the naming that, if it was a new structure, something we were proposing, I'd probably be more for it. But, you know, this is something, like I say, it's going to be tore down. I just think right now, with the way the country is, perhaps this, and again, over the holidays, it's just something that we need to put the brakes on right now. Like the idea, but I just couldn't support it right now.
Commissioner Wright.
I agree as well. While the sentiment, you know, may be well-meaning, I don't think it's something we need to rush into. I think there's some costs involved for the businesses and people have addresses on that road, and there's, you know, like you said, Commissioner Peach, it is a old failing bridge that we know we'll be replacing, hopefully sooner rather than later at some point, and I'm not prepared to make a vote today on such an issue. Or even in January. I just think this is something that certainly takes some research.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Hawkins.
After hearing from the board, I don't think it's an idea we should kill. I think it's an idea we should hear from the citizens. It just came up, and there's a grassroots movement, and, you know, there's a lot of time, a lot of people to ask. There's, you know, there's the Republican Party, and so in the county, there's other folks that may oppose it. My thoughts are, let's hear from the citizens first. I can understand on the timing, but as far as not wanting to deal with a controversial issue, that's what we were elected to do, to deal with controversial issues. Donald Trump is a controversial president, but he's done more for this country than anybody. And I agree for the moment, but I don't think we should kill this altogether, but I think we should look into January, possibly, let's not kill this, let's give it a shot, let's hear from our citizens first, but be willing to put this on the agenda in the future. Not for vote today, but just on the agenda in the future.
Yeah, I don't think you heard anyone say we're not killing it for today. It just requires a lot of time and effort and thought before we make snap decisions like this. So,
Yeah, and I agree with that.
This will be discussed TBD in the future.
Thank you. That's all I ask, is that it would be a point of consideration for the board going into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mullins.
Well, one more comment, Mr. Chair. I just want to make sure that it will go on the agenda on the future for the public.
A date to be determined.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
we need more information on that, so I'm not prepared to put a date on it. I'm certainly not willing to put it on the January first meeting of January. We have a lot of issues to deal with. We have been seeing lots of emails on controversial issues, so what I'm trying to do is stem the tide for the staff and cool this issue down so we don't overload with emails over the holidays while we're trying to deal with these key issues. So it'll be put on as a discussion item at a meeting to be determined in the beginning of the year.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.